Hello, my name is Rene. I'm 40 years old, born and raised in San Clemente, California. I've struggled with drugs on and off for my whole life, and I started doing drugs when I was 14 years old. I had a choice to make whether I was going to be in a gang or be a skater, and all my friends were leaning towards joining a gang because of their older brothers, and drugs came along with that culture. I started with weed, and that quickly escalated to meth. So we started smoking it and said we would never snort it. And shortly after, I was offered some free drugs to snort it, and that escalated from snorting to other methods of using it. My criminal career started at an early age due to drugs, and that led me to 42 incarcerations on just drug charges, and that was the price I had to pay for using drugs. Throughout my life, I've accumulated 5 years of going in and out of rehab, and because of all those incarcerations, I had a institutionalized mentality that led me to relating that over to treatment centers and as a form of escaping reality and responsibilities and just kind of hiding out from the world. Out of all those incarcerations and all those treatment centers, I gained a lot of knowledge, but I didn't apply it. When I would get released, I would go right back to the same old stuff shortly thereafter, if not like the same day. I'd say that that had to do with not wanting to get sober, not being serious, and not putting in the work. Treatment centers were 30 days, 90 days, and I really wasn't there and putting in any effort to change. So naturally, when I would get out of the program, I'd come out the same guy that came in, just abstinent from drugs for X amount of time. There came a time where I didn't even want to finish a program, and I just wanted to hurry up and get out so I can get on with the relapse to come back again. And that was my warped thinking due to all the fails. So the more fails that I had, the more self-defeated mentality that I had throughout the years. It robbed me of time from my family, my kids, and of life, really, experiencing life as an adult. During that last time incarcerated, I had drugs offered to me, put in my hands, and I made a decision at that moment to not do it, not give foothold to the devil and to the enemy, and I just rejected it. I started doing contrary action right from the gate. Even though I still had plans when I got out for bad ideas, my higher power prevented and blocked all those ideas from happening and materializing. He sent people, friends that I've known, to kind of help me and look out for me until I got in the program from after my incarceration. What happened for me to want to get clean? There came a time where, during my last incarceration in 2016, where I was looking at all the other inmates that were of a younger age and seeing how they were so carefree and how they just enjoyed being incarcerated like I used to when I was younger. And it bugged me because I was 35 years old and I wasn't about that anymore. And I had a lot that I had neglected and missed out on, like my kids' youth and my mom. Well, I made a decision to go back to the last treatment center that I attempted to complete twice before. That was a year-long. It's called Teen Challenge. For anybody that's heard it, it's like a Christian boot camp. And my mentality was that I needed whatever was the most intense. And at that point, that's the most intense program that I knew of. I went into Teen Challenge in 2016 and completed that program, did 17 straight months. And in that time there, I went through a great amount of turmoil, inner turmoil, because I was going through change and I wanted to fight it. I wanted to run. It was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. And for any of you that are watching this and that are going through a treatment center or have been through one, I can relate to you. And it wasn't until I stopped looking to the left and to the right, and I kept steady on my own reflection and looked at my own issues, that I start getting to the core of my own self. Because it's so easy to go through a treatment center, especially if it's a year long, and realize all the flaws in the program and on the guy to the right and to the left of you. But at the end of the day, you go to bed with your own conscience and your own decisions you made, and you have to take that and deal with it. You don't got to deal with nobody else's. So I had to realize that, hey, you know what? I'm here for me. I'm going to stop making excuses and work on myself. Now, was it easy? No. Was it worth it? Yes, because out of those 17 months that I spent in a lockdown, no social media, no fun stuff like some of these treatment centers that are out here in California. No, this was a free nonprofit program where if you didn't get right, you had to get left. And believe me, there was plenty of things wrong with the program, but all those imperfections were opportunities for me to grow through and for me to like gain new strengths, I should say, because there were things within me that I didn't know I had, that I could produce to cope. It wasn't the certificate that I gained when I graduated, that I stood in front of all my peers and friends and the director and shook hands and took a picture. It was those lessons that I endured that normally I would sit there and get resentments about. But there was nobody to be resentful towards except for me, because I myself and my own decisions put myself back in that situation where I needed to ask a treatment center, please help me, take me back for a third time. You know, so that's where I started changing from my first incarceration to going back to the program and having to endure humble pie being fed, spoon-fed, force-fed to me. I came out to live back in my hometown of San Clemente against all odds, against my track record that said I would not get clean. I've been able to stay clean 5 years by the grace of God and by the help of the people that were there along my journey, helping me out, pouring into me, you know, because I now work in a treatment center. Ever since I graduated Teen Challenge, 3 weeks later, God opened the door for me to work in a treatment center, and I've been blessed enough to be going from center to center, and every center was a door opened by God, because it wasn't by me or looking for a job. Every opportunity that I've had to work in a treatment center was offered to me, and a blessing. But now I get to come alongside men and women that are going through it and tell them like, hey, anything you're going through, I went through it for 5 years. Any stories that you're gonna tell me as a cop-out or excuse or okey doke, hey, it's not gonna work on me because I've done it. But I can relate to you. If anybody from the treatment center that I work at can sympathize, empathize with the client, is me. I have more experience in a treatment center on both ends than anybody I know. Now, did it suck having to spend 5 years of my life and almost 10 years of my life incarcerated? Yes. Could I take back the time of hands? No. But all that experience has led me to a position where I can help those that are going through it and that have come from that walk. Where I've had somebody come up to me after taking my chip and sharing at a meeting and saying, hey, I can relate to you. Can I get your number? And it's a miracle that just by saying what I've been through, somebody can identify and feel a connection with me and come and ask me for my number. Because the way I've heard it explained, that recovery is holding onto the hand of somebody with less time and onto the hand with somebody with more, and treading along. You know, I don't care what your method of recovery is, whether it be AA, NA, CA, MA, Christianity, Buddha, Allah, anything. Choose something, because if you haven't decided on anything, you're already losing the fight. Nobody gets it on their own power. Nobody does it by themselves. There ain't no shame in asking another human being to help you, because everybody that's been there, that's recovered, knows that if you don't give it away, you ain't gonna keep it. It's free, so like freely given, freely taken, freely given. And if I have some advice for anybody, is if you're struggling, if you don't think you can do it, give yourself a year. Give yourself a year. If it's going to take going through a lot of misery, go ahead and get your fill of it so that you can be ready, hit rock bottom, and join us on this side.